it's Amber. I know I had a countdown that said there was 1 minute left, which is a lie because of course we are a minute over. But I was fighting with technology and I finally think I figured out what I was doing wrong with Facebook. And theoretically, this is going into the Facebook group. But if not, I know I've got a few people on YouTube who are tuning in. So this is going to be fun, at least on YouTube, maybe on Facebook, and maybe also on my Twitter account. I don't know. I'm experimenting with technology. So if you're not familiar, I'm Amber Hines from Equalize Digital, and in this live stream, we are going to be doing some live accessibility remediation on the WP Product Talk website. So it is a great opportunity to see how I approach different issues and interpret them and fix them or not. Sometimes I have fun struggling with WordPress. As we all know, the block editor can be very powerful and also very frustrating. So please say hello in the chat. I see that June is waving and said hello. Dave is here and said hello. Please also hit that like button wherever you are watching. It really helps me subscribe to the channel so that you can get notified of more of our videos. And look, Dave said it seems to be streaming on Facebook as well. And Paula is also here and she said, yep, it's in the Facebook group and on Twitter. You guys, you know what I had to do to get it to work on Facebook? I had to refresh the Facebook Live producer screen. Apparently, I don't know, if you open that window too early, it literally will never catch the stream coming out of Restream, and so you won't be able to hit the go live button. So that was what I tried today. I hit refresh, it reloaded, and it was magically working. I don't know, technology. But anyway, let's dive on in. So what we are going to be looking at today is the single episode page. So last week I was super excited because I got the accessibility checker score on the homepage of the WP Product Talk website to 100%. 100% pass tests. There's going to be, I'm going to take a pass back and do some manual testing. But first, I'm going to continue working through my automated issues. I'm not going to go to our blog. I'm not going to go to the about page, the contact page, any of those other things, because the content that gets the most traffic on this website are the podcast episodes. So I really want to dive in and make sure that these episode pages are as accessible as they can be for people. I have Accessibility Checker open right now. It happens to be flagging an incorrect heading order on in the sidebar here on this Our Guests, but we can see there's a bunch of different icons. So there's a video thumbnail up at the top with text over it that says click to watch. This one has an error. It says it's an empty button. So that would suggest that a screen reader user would just hear button. They wouldn't hear click to watch, for example. Let's see what else is being flagged. My image is missing alternative text. The connect with Amber heading that looks like a heading isn't actually a heading. It's probably just a paragraph. I can click show code. Yep, it's a paragraph that's been styled big, even though it probably ought to be a subheading. Zach is missing alt text. We've got another possible heading for this key quotes from Rich Tabor text, a bunch of different things, and related episodes. So if I go into the back end, these are created with the Seriously Simple Podcasting plugin. So it is a episodes post type. And I can see that I've got my title, a show notes heading with a little image there, some of that content. But hey, the sidebar stuff isn't here. Neither is what we saw down below where we had related episodes. So these are all being edited somewhere else. So this is something that I'm going to keep in mind. But what this does mean is that anything that's not on this individual page is coming out of a template or a global area. So I can fix it in one place and it's going to roll it out to all of the episodes that we have, which is the best thing. So what else do we have down here? I might just show you real quick to give you a feel on this particular episode. It has a 81% pass test score, has a 12th grade reading level, which we could dive into or not on this. It has, let's see, it has two things with insufficient color contrast, some of our tweets, it looks like. Oh yeah, the tweets, which are probably on the quotes. Image missing alt text up at the top, incorrect heading order for the our guest text, the empty button we looked at. And then we have 3 images that have empty alternative text. So what's the difference between missing and empty? Missing means that the image itself doesn't have an alt attribute at all. So I can see we've got the image with a data XPath and the source that it's coming from and a class, but no alt attribute. Versus the empty alternative text has an alt attribute right here, but it's empty. And then we've got some empty paragraph tags, which are not necessarily a problem. Depending on how they're styled or other things, they could create a front end confusion. Generally, empty paragraph tags are ignored by screen readers, but they could add some confusion on the front end for people, depending upon, if they have a background, it looks like maybe content didn't load for someone. So in general, it's best practice not to have random empty paragraphs. You should use like a WordPress spacer block or margin or padding instead. We've got the 3 possible headings and something that is flagging duplicate alternative text, which is our thumbnail, probably because it has the alt text of WP Product Talk, which is identical to the title of WP Product Talk. Really, we don't want to have title attributes on anything. They're not super helpful. And there's been a big initiative in the WordPress core project to remove title attributes wherever possible. So really the fix on this is we want to get rid of the title attribute. So I don't really want to start here on this main page. What I want to do is I want to go find and fix the problems that are showing up in my template areas. So that would be up at the top is a template area. The sidebar is a template area. And then we've got the related episodes section down below, right? None of that was in our content editor. The other thing is I might want to get rid of some noise. So I could potentially go and ignore items that are flagged. So for example, this related episodes has a little badge icon that is flagged as empty alternative text. So my first thought when I went to this is I'm going to go over to my open issues and go to the fast track tab in accessibility checker. And I want to create a global ignore for that image because I know that it's correct for this to have empty alternative text. It's decorative. We don't need to read out the heading and then, graphic of badge with star in it, right? This is a decorative image that doesn't need to be announced. This is correct. So I could add global ignores, but as I was looking at this, I started to notice, boy, there's multiple instances of this. I did my phone a friend and I asked my partner Steve and our plugin dev William, what do you think about this? Why is this flagging different items? And the reality is they're not all grouped together, and I would have to add multiple ignores, in which case a global ignore, it's kind of frustrating to have to create multiple global ignores for the same element. We did some digging. It's because this data XPath right here attribute, the values on it are different on different instances. And this is coming from a optimization detective plugin, which is in beta. It's a community plugin created by WordPress open source contributors is maybe the best way to put that. It's for helping to optimize lazy loading and some other things. I'm going to be totally honest. I don't know, but it helps prioritize image stuff. So obviously we don't want to remove this from the website, but the thought is do I just go through these and click global ignore, global ignore, global ignore with no guarantee that it will be global ignored again, because that plugin is adding unique stuff on different instances of these. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like counting what's above it. And if there's a longer write-up about the episode, then it has a different number on this XPath. I don't know. But there's another way we can fix that. So I actually kind of think I want to go dive into that first, because I love getting rid of noise in my reports. So I'm going to go over to under appearance cadence elements, because that is how this is built, which is a thing that Matt Cromwell taught me. You can look back at the episode where Matt came on and joined me, and he taught me a bunch of stuff about cadence, which was super helpful. And we have, I'm guessing it's called episode content, even though it's like related episodes, because this says after entry content placement display on all singular podcasts. So I'm just going to edit that real quick and look at it. And it's funny, right? Because I'm going to start at the bottom of my page, but I'm going to try and do what I can to make my reports not as noisy. So this is loading. It's got, okay, episode content. It says it's pulling in the short code. And then here's our related episodes, which is a reusable block. Let's hit edit original. And there's a H2. And here's this image right here. And this is just a regular block, image block. But we have the ability to add attributes to it, which is probably coming from the attributes for blocks plugin, but don't hold me to that. I don't have our plugin list open right now, so I can't check. But one of the things that I could do, because I know this is correct with alternative text to be empty, if I want accessibility checker to ignore something and not flag, I'm going to see, oh, can I set a default one? I can't. Okay. That's not coming from that. So now I am going to do it. I'm going to pull over our plugin list. And I am going to add a plugin. Let's see. All right. We're going to add the attributes for blocks plugin, because I was really hoping that would allow me to set custom attributes, but it doesn't. Let's search. Okay, attributes for blocks. This one by Web7Dev. I'm going to install now. And I'm going to watch it spin. There we go. Now it should tell me activate, activate. Just want to activate that. Now I'm going to go back to where I am editing my related episodes, and I'm going to refresh this, because that's the only way I'm going to get the block in the editor. So we're going to hit refresh. And refresh these magical things. It makes your Facebook live stream work. It gets your new plugin settings in the editor, maybe. There we go. Is it loading? Loading, loading. All right, now I'm going to try clicking on this image. And I'm going to wait, because I still don't think. Here we go. Okay, so under advanced, now I have additional attributes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put role, and I'm going to add that. So it's going to add a role attribute, and then presentation. This is kind of a way to trick Accessibility Checker when you are coding something or building it in the editor. If you are intentionally leaving the alt text empty because it is a decorative image and you don't want all the warnings about that image to flag, say, hey, you forgot to put alt text for your content creators, you can add role equals presentation, and then we will no longer warn about the empty alt text. So I'm going to add that, and I'm going to save. Now I'm like nested in and nested in. So I'm going to have to go check and see if it actually did it. But let's go back and look at this guy. I'm going to close Accessibility Checker for a minute. So this is how it looks before. So we've got the image with alt and nothing, but no role equals presentation. I saved my block pattern, I think. So we're going to refresh, and hopefully we should see role equals presentation on that guy now. Let's see. Oh, we don't need the Accessibility Checker to open. Let's go down here and inspect this. There's our image. Nope, did not do it. Oh, I put it on the figure. That's interesting. I feel like it should put it on the image. So that might not actually work the way I hoped it would, which is kind of a bummer. Why is it putting it on the figure and not on the image? I don't know. That might not do what I wanted it to do, unfortunately. It's not a problem to have it on the figure. It's just Accessibility Checker is not going to, that will stop the figure tag from being read out, but it will not stop Accessibility Checker from scanning this image, which is kind of a bummer. So I'm going to have to dig into this, which I'm not going to do right now, but I'd want to go back and figure out, is there a way I can get that attribute on the image itself? Maybe at the end we'll circle back, because I could probably do it with a quick JavaScript snippet, because ChatGPT is really great for that. But let's just go back and look at what other issues we had on this page. So let me see. So we had that guy, which is still going to flag as empty alt. Was there anything down below? Let's go back and look at this. So, oh, we had some heading order issues, I think. Let me look at this on the front end just with headings in general while we're still editing this. So I'm going to use my headings map plugin, because that for me is the easiest way to see headings. Oh man, look, we don't even have an H1 on this page, which is not great for SEO. Not good for accessibility, also not good for SEO. Let's kind of see this. What we're currently editing is this related episodes. Is that, where is that? Oh, there it is. So that's an H2, but then the episode titles below it are also H2s. So let's fix that. That should be a pretty quick and easy fix, which is that these guys, if I click on this, and I have to remember where it was, so give me a second. In the style or in the advanced header settings. So this is a post grid carousel from Cadence. Nope, that's just style. Maybe it's under advanced. Title settings. Show title. Title typography settings. It's buried. This should be an H3. Let me save that. So that will make all of these H3s. Our guest is in the sidebar, so that's not on this block pattern. That might be all we have to do for this block pattern right at this moment. We can do just a quick on the front. Tabbing. You know something else I'm going to do? This isn't total accessibility, but while I'm in editing it, I really don't love how the name of the person is above the title, because if I were going to read this out, it would actually look like the guest name here was the guest for the previous episode. I also don't like the spacing isn't super good. Like everything's really running together. So I'm going to adjust that a tiny bit. So let's see. What do I need to do to, I wonder if this has things I could, nope. Is there a below title? Oh, there is. Let's see if we can change this. Show date. Oh, no, I can't. All right, so Ben from Cadence told me that he's going to come on. We're going to get him scheduled. And I think this is going to be a question that I have for him, which is, how can I get this taxonomy to actually be below the title and not above? But I can definitely probably adjust my spacing on these a little bit. Let's see. What do we have for like a content settings, content background? It's super hard when you're not familiar with something. You know what happens if I put like 20 pixels of bottom margin? Oh, that might do what I want. Can I make this not pixels? No. There's units, but these don't have units. All right, well, I'm going to try that for a minute. Save, refresh. So I'm going to make a note for myself that I definitely want to figure out how to move the taxonomy with the guest name down below. But even with the spacing right here, this is way better. I keep forgetting that I have my accessibility checker parameters on here, and it keeps opening accessibility checker. So that spacing is a little better. It's not great, but it is definitely a little better and helps with that. But we also did fix, look, our related episodes are nested the way they are. Okay, so I think that's all I needed to do on this block pattern. So I'm going to go back. What's the best way to go back? I don't even know anymore, you guys. I'm going to go back to Cadence Elements, out of my reusable block. So that down here also had the transcript in it. Let's look at this real quick. This looks like an accordion. Can I get my focus on there? There we go. Ooh, that's missing. This might be some custom code, that short code that's rendering. So we have a transcript. It's in a tab. It's visually in an accordion. There's an input with a checkbox and a label, which I don't understand why. And yeah, so we definitely need to figure this out. This div block create block castos transcript, this is telling me right here that I bet you that short code is coming from the Seriously Simple podcasting plugin. And it is not a good short code, because this right here is not an accessible accordion, which is a giant bummer. So I'm taking notes, you guys. Don't worry. I'm not going to forget about these things. I'm going to come back. I'm just trying to solve some of the easy things quickly first. So that is super annoying. I think that was the only other thing. Let me open this in a new tab so I can close it real quick. That was the only other thing that was in here. Let's see. I love when things take a long time to load. There we go. Yeah, so this right here, although it is interesting because it has the WP product talk _ transcript short code. So that suggests to me maybe it is modified. So let's just go. I'm going to continue exploring this. Even though I want to do easy stuff, now I'm like, nope, I'm in. I want to figure out how I can fix that if I possibly can. So let's go to, where is that under plugins? Snippets. And we're going to see if there is a transcript shortcode snippet. There is. All right, let's go look at it. Okay, so some of this is actually something, we can fix. And this is an interesting thing because normally I would say don't use a disclosure, an HTML disclosure block for an accordion, because they're not meant to be used if you have a bunch of them. But in this case, we have one. It is the perfect use for that. If I can find it, I'm doing some Googling on my other window. It is the perfect use for this. All right, so I'm going to pull up here just so everybody can see it. So this is what we need: details and summary, like this, and expands. You can tab to it. You can hit your space bar, open and close. It does everything that you would expect an accordion to do without requiring JavaScript, which is super handy. The reason why we don't normally do them for groups is that they don't support headings. Although I have seen some instances where people have been able to get them to read headings. But I think there's another way we can handle it. So what I'm going to work on right now is I'm going to just take this and I'm going to fix that. So let's go over to the snippet where we are creating it. I'm going to paste in what I've got up above. I'm like really debating whether I need these. Let's see. So maybe we'll keep the container that it's in. This is so fun, you guys. I have no idea what styles are connected with this. So it's entirely possible that I'm going to break something when I do this. So we've got a row, we've got a column, we have tabs as a class, which doesn't make sense. Class tab. I don't think I need any of that. Then we've got that input with the checkbox, which we definitely don't need because it's not a form. We've got the label of transcript. We go like that. And then we have the container, which is what can kind of go down here. And we've got a PHP echo variable transcript close PHP tag. So I'm going to move that into my details tag. I'm only keeping one of these divs. I'm just going to get rid of the rest of it. Boy, I really hope this thing version controls. Hold on. Let me be smart and paste this into Sublime over here so I have it in case I need to get it back. But basically, I have one div now. I've kept the one that has the class. I don't actually know if we need that, but we're going to find out what happens. And I have the summary, says transcript, and then I've got the same variable that is getting the transcript in a function that is up higher. And, you know, for fun, I'm going to just right now save changes. said it was updated. Let's go refresh this episode page and see how much I broke. I'm just kidding. I don't actually think it's going to be broken. All right. So it doesn't have quite the same styles, right? But if all right, I got to remove these URL parameters because they drive me nuts that I keep forgetting that they're there. All right. So now I'm focused on here. I can tab to the transcript. It has a focus outline. I can hit spacebar to open it, spacebar to close it, return key to open it, return key to close it, and it would announce expanded and collapsed. So that is a huge fix because there are plenty of people who cannot hear or are hearing impaired and need transcripts or want to be able to search transcripts but are not mouse users. So this is a major fix that hugely did a bunch of things. So the other thing that I want to do is I want to make this transcript easier to find because you can see it's not there. I'm just going to throw a heading in there. So we're going to go back to this element. I could also, if I wanted to, let's see, on the snippet, do I have the ability? I could, I could go add some CSS maybe if I wanted to style that transcript differently. I'm not going to right now. I forgot I had my campfire open. But you could change it and have it styled more with the box or move the arrow around or whatever. But I think for now, we're not going to do that. Oh, you know what I probably could do is I could change the text, but let's go ahead and here. I'm gonna, oops, just do it. Can I get this to shine? No, it's gonna be annoying. Okay, let's just get a heading. While I'm waiting on that, yes. William says, I've seen myself. I'm famous now. Yes, because I accidentally showed him answering my question about those gosh darn images. All right, heading to transcript. That's very helpful. We want that heading. Could make it smaller if we wanted, but I think I'm going to leave it the way it is. And it should be a heading too if we think about the structure of this post. Best advice is a heading 2. Transcript should be a heading 2. Then we go related episodes heading 2. So let me save that. And I am totally going to go back because I decided I don't want the disclosure to read the exact same thing. So this is me not planning ahead, you guys. I'm just like back and forth. Where was that again? Save. Feeling my computer always works so much slower when I'm screencasting. Did it save? Maybe. Come on, WordPress, you can do it. All right, it's saved. Done. This is why I shouldn't, oops, I didn't mean to click settings. Dang. Try again. Plugins. It's not going to show me the menu. There we go. It's so laggy right now. Snippets. I should have left it open. Well, while this takes a year to load, I will throw the link for the details element into the YouTube chat. In case anybody hasn't seen that, this is documentation on Mozilla Developer Docs. Super helpful resource on many, many things. We still didn't get to the snippets page. All right, we're going to go back to that short code, which was here. I have to say, it makes me so happy how easy it was to fix that. That's something that could have been super bad and like a major hassle. But having the snippet here, there are definite benefits to using a code snippet plugin and to the fact that this is custom and it wasn't coming out of Castos, because originally I saw that Castos class and I thought, oh no, I'm not going to be able to do anything about this. So I'm going to actually make this say show/hide transcript. And then it will read expanded or collapsed, depending upon its state, to a screen reader user. All right, that's saved. That did way better. So I think that tells me that we have fixed pretty much what we need to fix in this element. What we have now is issues with our heading levels on the sidebar, which they're nesting under. So it's sort of saying like product UX, the title of that episode, and the guest for that was Rich Tabor, and me and Zach were the co-hosts, but that's not actually right? So we need to fix this heading level. So let me first go back to under appearance, cadence elements, and I'm going to see if that sidebar is a cadence element. If it's not, I don't know, then maybe it's a widget area. I'll have to track it down, right? So let's see. This is the header. Nope. Templates. That's the episode finder. So it's not there. All right, let's inspect it on the front end. Sometimes finding where you have to fix problems is just like doing whack-a-mole. So totally a widget area. Okay, we're going to close this and we are going to open the customizer, which gives us a nice front end view. So semantically, we really want that heading to be, we really want it to be, I'm going back and forth, like it could be an H2, but I really actually think I want our guests and co-hosts to be H3s, because I want them to be nested under something that says like, this is the episode details. Because you'll remember the thing that's odd about this is this content, because it's in a sidebar, it comes after related episodes, not before, even though visually it's before on the page. So I think we need something that makes it really clear, like how to find this. And this is where that screen reader text format plugin that I used is very helpful. So this also has some short codes. So we're going to have to go in here. Now I'm seeing we'll have to go back to our snippets to edit this heading level and the content here. But I am going to stick a screen reader only heading above this, which is like guests and hosts. I know it's below. Don't worry. I'm going to move it up. I find it really hard in this block-based widget editor to be able to add them above. So I add them below and move them. All right, I have highlighted that on my H2. I'm going to click more screen reader only. Now that text is not there and it does not output like visually, but it is there to give context to this section. Actually, I think I want to guests and hosts must be marked there for this episode, because it's not all guests and hosts, right? Like it's for the current episode. Oh, but I forgot. That should all be screen reader-tized. There we go. All right, we're going to publish that change. While that's publishing, I'm going to be smart and open these things in new tabs because I keep being silly and closing them. We're going to go back to snippets. and we're going to go find the short code for the guests and hosts. All right, so here's the guest short code. Could get it on that one first. Super complex. Okay. Let's see. H4. This needs to be an H3. This could do all kinds of things, you guys, to my styles when I make it bigger. So I might end up in the customizer having to do it. Normally I'd say, hey, if you got a really busy site, don't do this on your live site. But we don't have a really busy site as much as we wish it would be. So I'm going to do it here. Okay, so we've got the heading for the section, our guest is an H3, which means the guest name should be an H4 instead of an H5. Because basically what we're doing is we're bumping things up a level so they nest appropriately in that heading output. There is something else that I want to fix while I'm in here as far as headings, which was the guest name, guest connect links. I swear, oh, maybe that was just for guests. Oh, yeah. It was hosts that had connect with, but not guests. Guests don't have that. Their social media is right up here. But there is something I am actually aware of on the social media icons. So basically this column, it has, let's see if I can do this while I'm in the customizer. Got to scroll down. This column has the guests and it has multiple people with multiple of their social media links. So Rich Tabor, for example, has a WordPress link and a X link. I have a WordPress link and an X link. Zach has a WordPress X and a Mastodon link. And what they don't have is anything that tells them that they're unique. So for example, on Rich Tabor's, it just said, the ARIA label says website, opens a new window. And then for me, although I kind of think that ought to be WordPress, but maybe that is just website. I guess it's just website. We can see it says the same thing. Well, mine says WordPress, opens a new window. It's a little interesting. Those icons are different. But it doesn't make it clear whose is which, right? Like we would see the same thing for the X. It would just say X, opens a new window, but it wouldn't say X for Amber, X for Rich, X for Zach. So there'd be no way if a screen reader user was viewing these in the list of links that exist in their screen reader for them to know which one goes where. And in fact, there's probably another one that is for WP Product Talk somewhere else on the page. So while I'm in here fixing the heading levels, I want to also fix this. So let me see if there's a variable for the person. What is the guest name? Yep, there's a name variable. So we're going to take that name variable and we're going to go back on the guest website, and ARIA label is going to say website for, and then I have to do a, let's see, close the quotes. This is where things get extra fun. Open a PHP tag. And then we're going to echo escape HTML. Oh wait, like I could have just copied and pasted this whole thing. Wouldn't that be smart? Save me so much time typing. Actually, I don't want to close this. Do I? No. But I need to do something. I feel like this looks wrong. You guys are all laughing at me, but it might not actually be. All right, so that should output website for person's name. And you know, before I go through and do it on all of them, I'm going to save. Now I'm going to check it. And just close this because we don't need the customizer open anymore. Then we can see it and it'll reload the page, hopefully. Did I break it? Let's find out. Inspect. ARIA label says website for Rich Tabor. It doesn't tell me it opens in a new window right now. There we go. Website for Rich Tabor. So that worked perfectly. But what I have to do is I need to do this for all the possible social medias. So I'm just gonna copy this real quick. And we gotta put it on the ARIA label for X. Hopefully I can just copy and paste this so it'll go pretty fast. On the ARIA label for Mastodon. On the ARIA label for LinkedIn. On the ARIA label for YouTube. So I'll totally admit, you guys, I'm not fixing an automated issue right now. There's no way to really flag something like this automated. It's just something that I'm aware of from editing the page. So, you know, it's not an automated issue, but it's kind of one of those, I'm in here fixing it, so I want to do this at the same time. You know what I didn't pay attention to when this reloaded was, how did our sizing changed? And you can see right here that the colors and everything flip-flopped when I made that change on his name. So I think what I'm probably going to do real quick is go open this up in the customizer and add some custom styles just to make sure these have the styles that Matt wanted them to have before. So I'm going to open this in a new tab for just a second. Feel free to, by the way, if you have any questions or anything, to throw them in the chat. I'd be happy to answer them if I'm not explaining well enough what I'm doing. Yeah. So William had said, because I had mentioned that with those you couldn't change. He said, this is similar to repetitive link test type issues, right? Maybe I can figure out something to detect that. Yes. Or we have a manual issue when we do manual audits that we flag, which is that multiple links with the same name have different destinations or something. I can't remember what the exact title is. But that's essentially what it is. So really, I think we could create an automated check for that, which is we could look at all of the anchors or ARIA labels for links, and then we could compare their destinations. And if there is the same text on 2 or more links that go to different destinations, then we could flag that. So yeah, we could definitely do that. All right, I'm going to do a little CSS writing real quick here. I always like to explain what I'm doing with comments. I know we don't always do that in the customizer, but I like to. Let's go episode sidebar heading style fix for corrected levels. All right, so what I'm going to try and do here is inspect what these are currently and just flip them. Sometimes I actually wonder, sometimes I can do like an H3 with a class of H4 and then it will do it, but I'm not as familiar with the, I'm not as familiar with what all of the different classes are, so I'm just going to do this real quick. So first of all, I want to be in, make sure I'm in like the right container to target this. So there's sidebar, but I'm going to make this a little wider so I can see. I'm going to get, well, now why is that so wide? Okay. I want to actually see what the podcast template default might be the best way to limit it to just this post type, because there's not a single dash podcast, which is what or single dash episode, which is what I would expect. So I guess I'm just going to say I only want to target this. So we're going to go here. And someone tell me why my mouse is being totally funky. So I've got that. Then I'm going to go down some more. Sidebar. Complimentary. I'm debating how far down I want to go to target that. Because there's not really a container just for like the group. So I'm going to, I think, target on the sidebar interrupt. So back over here. Add that. And now again, because I want to be able to see it. All right. So back to my headings. So this is the H4 styles, but we actually want those to be on the H3. So I'm going to go put this on this H3 and then put that in. And then what we need to do is sort of the same thing, but on the H4. So let's decide what order I want to do this in. So I'm going to paste in that same podcast template default .sidebar -inner -wrap H3. I'm going to grab the styles down here from the one I haven't changed and just copy and paste them. So I've got a color, but I don't have a size. So let's see if I can. So I'm going to do my color. Don't autofill for me. Font size. Don't have typos in your CSS, not recommended. You'll spend forever trying to figure out why it's not working. All right, this one has a pixel font size, which is a little weird, which I don't love. So I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back to turn this one to style the H4. And I think we're going to, oh wait, why did I type font size? I already had it. You guys, this is what happens when I do stuff live. Let's see, I'm going to make this 1.6 and just for fun. So I was hoping that would work, but why is it not doing it? Because that's targeting the secondary ID. What if we go add that on there? I don't know what order it's in. So I'm going to have to do the thing that every developer loves that I do, which is put an important on it. Sorry in advance to all the developers watching this. Only because I have 4 minutes left and I don't want to spend time figuring out how to go further down, right? All right, so now we are back. That 1.6M still looks too big though. Let's try 1.3. Oh, that looks better. Okay, so we've got the styles on that back to what they were. And this snippet is done. I'm 99% sure that I saved it with those fixes, but I'm just gonna hit save one more time. Let's go over to our host shortcode and edit that. Debbie says, I appreciate watching work through these issues. Thank you. You're welcome, Debbie. It's kind of fun to get to do it. I'm not like the most expert person, but hopefully it's still helpful even when I sometimes am like, I don't know how this will go. So let's see. Same deal. We want to make the H4 and H3 for our co-hosts. Then we want to find the person's name and make that an H4. And then we want to go down and do the same thing. Why do I not have a variable for the name? Oh, it's just a little different. That's fine. I think the other way might be slightly more secure because it was escaping the HTML on the variable. But we'll just run with it. We're gonna just do a PHP echo variable term name. And I'm going to go down here to all of these links and find the ARIA label. Oh, these ones also don't have ARIA labels, it looks like. Guest website, meta website. Interesting. All right. So we're going to have to put a whole ARIA dash label equals website for, we'll paste in what I copied. Oops, be helpful if I spelled website. You know what, I wonder if that's coming from the meta. No, that's href. It is interesting that the website one didn't have an ARIA label on it at all, but the Twitter does. So X for paste in the term name, Mastodon for paste in the term name, save changes. Now I'm going to do a refresh on the front end and we can look at what our heading levels are now. And make sure that my ARIA labels worked. So, oh, I forgot about this connect with Amber. Let's fix that too. So if my name is an H4, then that means a subheading saying, hey, you should connect with me. This should not be a paragraph. We actually want this to be a H5. So I'm changing this from a paragraph to an H5. Those were those, we saw those possible headings flagged. So this will resolve the possible headings. So I know I'm at noon, but I'm going to go a couple more minutes just because I want to show what we've done so far and do a quick recap for you all. I really appreciate everyone hanging out in the comments. Did it save? Oh, it did. I don't like those snack bar things. I miss them all the time. I'm like, did it work? All right, let's refresh. We're going to find out what that H5 did. I got a little bolder, but the size didn't really change, so I'm going to leave it. All right, and then I'm just going to make sure that my ARIA label's on these links, so they're now super unique. Let's make sure that worked because it was built slightly differently. So yep, ARIA label website for Amber Hines opens a new window. ARIA label on the X says X for Amber Hines opens a new window. Woohoo! So that's a big fix. And then we should see a much better heading order on this page now. Guys, we still don't have an H1 because I started at the bottom. But you can see related episodes are nested. The H2's guests and hosts for this episode are guests, and then we've got one and then and an H4, right? So then we've got an H3, our co-host, and H4s with the names plus the connect subheadings. So everything is nested very well. I cannot end this episode without fixing that H2 and making it an H1. So let's go do that right there. Then I'm going to save the page and we will see what's left to fix next time. I will say that I am super happy with the progress on this so far, especially with fixing the transcript so that it can be open and closed with the keyboard only. That is huge and has a big impact for a lot of people. Also making these links not ambiguous is really helpful. And the heading order. So I feel like in an hour, we got a lot done. Let's go edit that H1 though, because we really need an H1 on every page. It should be the title of the page. Super important for accessibility. I've seen a lot of screen reader users, if they're just trying to get into the content quickly, they'll use a shortcut key to go to the H1. And if you don't have an H1, then they can't get there. The other thing that is, is let's say all of us care about SEO for the most part. I would say 99% of us care about SEO, and Google wants to see an H1 on every page too. All right, so all I have to do in this block is change this from an H2 to an H1. I suspect it's going to get really big, and that is why it was set to an H2 because it just didn't fit. But if I go over to the style tab on this, I can just choose a different size typography or set a custom one. So that is a thing that I think maybe a lot of people don't realize. So I'm just going to choose this extra large. That made it smaller, but it kind of looks roughly what I think it was before. And I'm going to hit save. Your heading styles don't have to match in all cases. What matters more is that you are creating a semantic outline of the page. So if on some pages your H1s are a little smaller because that's what they need to do in order to fit into the design that you have, it's still like preferable to have them smaller but have that H1. So let's refresh this. And now we can see, yay, the title is an H1 and it's a little smaller. It still all kind of fits in the same column. We have a good semantic outline. If I go to edit this post right now, I'll click over to the summaries. Oh man, guys, I clicked away on accident. Sorry, didn't mean to click that. All right, go back. This might do what I needed it to do anyway, but I was going to show you a quick improvement. We were at about 80%, 80-something percent. Let's see. Loading. Once it loads, I want it to rescan because I want to show how many things in our automated issues that fixed. And really, there is going to be a huge difference when I do a new full site scan, because remember, everything we were fixing was sidebars or template sections. So we have hundreds of episodes. So this is what it was. It should be rescanning. Let's see, we still have some images with empty alt. We got our possible headings went down. There's one more. Oh, key quotes from Rich Tabor. That one is unique. It's in this post. So that would have to be fixed in this post. It's not in a template. But, oh, do we still have one incorrect heading order? Let's see. Where is it? Our guess. Why is it doing that as, did I do it wrong? This one might not be clearing. Nope, I did it right as an H3. So that will reset. But the big thing I was gonna say is that, and I do still have it open. Yay! Look at that. So I had this when I opened this today. I had possible headings 255, a bunch of incorrect heading orders, all of those sorts of things that were coming out of, so there's 87. Those are coming off those episode pages. So if I run a full site scan, this is going to go out and see that I fixed all of those things. So huge improvement. Next week, I'll be back at 11 a.m. and I will be at that time. I will show you the results of the full site scan because nobody wants to sit here and wait for it to run. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in. Please, please, please like this video wherever you are watching it. Hit subscribe on YouTube. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions about anything that I worked on today. Have a great